Well, talking about brothers in water and experience, so I'll share mine. So, and of course, I will probably date myself, but at that time, Jaws had just come out as it was a very popular movie. So we were kids. So myself, my older brother, and his then girlfriend, we were on the water in the ocean on the boat. Everything was nice and dandy, and then my brother turns to both of us and goes dun 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 dun. The brain told me there are no white shark around me, but the dun 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 that did me in. So we all panicked and we tried to grab the ladder, and in the panic we dropped the ladder, which is probably $300 or $400 ladder. And of course, my parents end up paying or footing the bill, but it was this thing that, the brain tells you something, but the dun 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 tells you something else. And then every shade could be a shark. Of course, it was my foot, but every shade could be a shark. So, it's very interesting that you mentioned your brother and the fear mongering. So, I want to change subjects a little bit, and I want to ask you about giving and receiving feedback. And we're always cautioned to do that with the utmost care, right? So, for the experience, could be traumatic, right? So, I want to go back to your ninth grade, and your aptitude test revealed that you, quote, ought to become a clerk. So how did you feel when you heard that, or how has it affected you?
Yeah, these are the aptitude tests. Everybody would have to take, kind of trying to plan your vocational. So just to help your audience understand the context of this, in the test I took, I mean, you got to remember I was like a wanting to be a rock star. I was growing my hair long. The Beatles and the Rolling Stones were out, and so I'm an artist at heart. Like that's my life. I'm part of the '60s revolution, kind of some of those ideas, even though I wasn't really very smart about those ideas, but I was part of that freedom movement, love movement in North America. But yeah, to be told that you're good for a clerk, that would be you've got some skills of organizing, etc. It was really hard to say, but I would guess it's an insult. And the worst part of the insult, Ram, I think, is not so much somebody giving you feedback, in terms of content, although it's influenced by content. It's the feedback you get when you feel you're not seen. And that counselor obviously was taking statistics from a standardized test and making an assessment about me, which is like about my life, my future, and that person is an authority over me, right? I mean, they're a counselor in my young eyes. Use of power, use of things like statistics and standardizations like that of analysis and testing without seeing a person, and being a working class person in what are basically middle class and upper middle class school systems. Talk about feeling invisible and not seen, and that is the injury. That is the injury that goes far beyond what that person was doing in that test, but it represents symbolically to me, it's a symptom of the class blindness. And that's a huge problem still to this day, as you know. We could include race and gender and all the things of parts of oppression, but I would say that is the most injurious. And does it terrify a person? Yeah, I would say it does terrify at a very deep unconscious level. It terrified me of not being seen in this world and that I don't belong in this world, because that, diagnosis to be a clerk did not fit at all with who I thought I was.
Certainly, and some people are very careful, and some teachers are inspiring, others are not. But I think it's important that thank you for sharing your experience, because especially when we're young, we don't have all the defense mechanisms. So this could truly be crushing on someone, right?